Crack don't allow.
Secret though.
Found their way out of
Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. Go to discovertheforest.org.
In Fairfield County, something new comes across my desk every day. Crimes are committed, cases are solved, and a community is made safe by the hardworking employees of the Fairfield County Sheriff's Office.
This week with Sheriff Dave Phelan, a weekly program here on LSN Television. We're also carried by a number of our radio affiliates here in Lancaster. Do appreciate you, the viewers and listeners that join us each and every week, and certainly the Academy, students here at Fairfield Christian Academy that put this program together. Our executive producer, Kelly Roberts, who lines up the guests, many of the questions, and does a terrific job behind the scenes getting this program to go each and every week. Here he is this week, Chief Scott Ervin with the New Lexington Police Department.
Yes, sir.
Out in Perry County.
Yes, sir.
And it's nice of you to join us, Chief, today because we've got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about New Lexington, but let's talk a little bit, first of all, about your background.
Okay. In February of 1981, Sheriff Tom Wilson of Perry County gave me my first law enforcement commission.
Wow.
So that's been quite some time ago.
So you're with the Perry County Sheriff's Office?
Yes, I've worked for a couple smaller police departments, Perry County Sheriff's Department, and worked for Fairfield County Sheriff's Office as well.
And when you worked with along with me and some other folks here, you did a lot of different, you were a detective and
Correct.
A lot of different things.
Correct. I've done just about every job there is to do in law enforcement, I believe, at this point.
What's your favorite memory of working with the Sheriff's Office here in Fairfield County?
Fairfield County, I've got several actually.
Okay.
I really truly do. It was a pleasure working for you and serving the citizens of Fairfield County, which I still do in a reserve capacity. But I think some of the most memorable moments was we had an incident on a knock and talk on a drug warrant where we located an IED, so that was kind of interesting.
Wow. Well, tell the viewers and listeners about that. That's interesting.
Well, we were actually, I'm affiliated with the SWAT team of Fairfield County, and we were doing a knock and talk, one of the last stops in Walnut Township, actually, and we happened to locate an IED that ended up having to be detonated. So that was kind of interesting.
Now, wasn't that set up like on the, if I remember correctly, on the garage door? It was kind of a
Correct.
booby trap or something?
Yes, it was.
And that got a lot of notoriety. I remember the media was out there and all those kind of things.
Everybody was out there before it was over.
Well, it would seem to me, if I remember correctly, it was fortunate that one of the deputies was alert to that.
Yes.
Because that could have ended tragically.
That's correct.
Now, you're also a member of the SWAT team
Correct.
here in Fairfield County?
Yes.
And now do they also come in and assist you in Perry County if something happens?
They most definitely have. We've actually had them over there twice since I took over as chief in the past 3.5 years.
And what would be kind of the differences between maybe being a deputy here in Fairfield County, maybe being the chief in New Lex?
I think probably one of the big differences is the support services that you have available here. They're much more readily available than what we have in a smaller area. And there's a lot of power in networking, so we in the smaller areas have to count on larger areas for support in special situations, and I think that's very beneficial to us.
And so now how long have you been the chief there?
About 3.5 years.
3.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So what are some of the things that you've done in New Lex as the chief?
Well, when I first went back, I was asked to basically try and come up with some solutions to some of the opiate problems and the drug problems we were having in the village and throughout Perry County.
You know, it's surprising because I think a lot of our viewers and listeners, when you think of New Lexington and kind of a rural, kind of a community that you wouldn't really kind of say, you wouldn't say they've got a drug problem.
We are like.
I mean, from the perception, like when you drive through
Sure.
the town or when you go, I know that some of my grandchildren have been involved in some of the sporting events there, and they've gone in there, and you're thinking this is kind of middle America. This is like the group, you know, a very safe, wonderful place. So it's really interesting that you would have those kind of issues even there.
Yeah, I mean, we have a nice community. We're like everybody else. We have our problems, but overall we have a nice community. But there are some problems there that we need to deal with in the opiate world. And when they asked me to try and deal with that, I'd done some homework and some research on what some others have done, and tried to take a proactive stance on it.
And so they probably, you have to kind of do everything, don't you? I mean, not only the chief, but you're going to have to be able to take care of a lot of different dynamics there.
That's correct.
So one thing you did start or was involved with was their Drug Awareness Coalition. What is that and what's that about?
Okay, what we did was when I first took over, we experienced several opiate deaths, and it was a concern. We had like 6 of them, almost one a month actually. And we were getting a lot of questions.
That's amazing. They're in New Lex.
In New Lexington. And, you know, it obviously affects a lot of people's lives when that happens. So we were trying to basically brainstorm some ideas on what we could do maybe to offer some assistance all the way around. So what we did was we put the word out to just several organizations. You know, we had clergy involved, we got counselors involved, we've got actually some doctors that's participated in the past. Job and Family Services has been huge for us. And we sat everybody in a room and we started talking. You know, we started out with probably 25 people or so, and it's kind of dwindled down to about 10 or 12 people. But we just sit there and we brainstorm different ideas of what we can do. And as a result of the Drug Coalition, we were able to secure some grants for a CSAP program, which is a community substance abuse program, through the commissioners, through Job and Family Services of Perry County. And it basically is a program that is designed to help people with addictions through their addiction, and also help them gain employment. So it's been working. It's still new. It's hard to really, you know, gauge how successful it's been at this point, but we're getting a lot of good support. And we also have been doing some research and trying to get some funding for our Solace program, which is the Surviving Our Losses and Continuing Every Day, to support the families of people. And they meet twice a month, and it's been working out for us. It's a little slow, but it's starting to pick up.
Well, I must say that I'm really surprised that you had that number of overdose deaths in New Lexington. And I would think that when you have something like that, it has an effect on the entire community, because you probably know just about everybody in town at this point, don't you? I know they all know you.
Right. It does. It does. It affects a lot of people.
Now, the other thing that I saw that Kelly kind of researched is you have a drug drop-off box there at the police station.
Correct. What we did was, actually through the Attorney General's office, we had taken some training, and we were able to secure through the Nadia group, which is a pharmaceutical company, drop-off boxes. And actually the sheriff in Perry County ended up applying and also got a drug drop-off box, and we got one as well.
Now, do you work pretty closely with Sheriff Barker there in Perry County?
Yes. Yes, we have to.
Yeah, so that's a good relationship, and you guys kind of, and since you kind of worked for the sheriff's office there, you kind of have a really good feeling about what's going on in the entire community.
Sure, we have to work together, and we all do.
Biggest challenge as the chief these last 3.5 years?
Budgets.
Budgets, okay.
Budgets. Same as everybody, I believe, has problems. We right now, our budget's been cut approximately 35 to 40%.
Okay.
And our manpower is now officially, as of last week, down to 50%.
That's pretty tough.
It makes it real tough. One of my number one goals when I first took over there was to improve the quality of service, and we've done that. We're pretty active in the community. We try to keep the community informed, about anything and everything we possibly can, and we engage them a lot. So that's helped.
So as the chief of police in New Lexington, and with your budget cuts, you're the guy. In other words, if there's a homicide, if there's something like that, you probably actually physically do a lot of the investigation, don't you?
That is correct. And we do draw on BCI, on the more serious crime scenes. But yes, as far as the day-to-day activities and, the initial interviews and those things, yes.
So it's like almost a 24/7.
It is.
So you're called all the time. If it's Sunday afternoon, something happens, they're going to call the chief.
A lot. That happens a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of meetings.
A lot of meetings.
Yes.
Well, so if you kind of looked at the flavor of New Lexington and a lot of things, what do you see with as far as the future, not only of the police department but of the community? If you could kind of fast forward, 4 or 5 years from now.
Well, I think we'll overcome these issues. We have the forefathers of the village are working really hard to try and get their arms around the problems.
Right.
They're obviously, like a lot of other villages, trying to brainstorm revenue streams. That's a big issue for us. A lot of our folks travel, obviously for employment to Lancaster, Columbus, Zanesville. So they're looking at those kinds of things, and I think once they work through that, we may never rebound 100% to the staffing level that we had, but I think we will rebound eventually. So they're being proactive and trying to research everything they can. So
well, it's got to be very important to have a good partnership with the city fathers, the school board, the businesses in the community, and those kind of things.
Yes, we're really fortunate. We do some community resource guides that come out. The businesses support us, and lots of times, there's always somebody that gets missed,
right,
somewhere along the line, and we try to apologize for that, and they're quick to let us know that they were missed. So that makes us feel pretty good, that they are interested in supporting us in any way they can. The schools, as far as I'm concerned, and I've said this time and time again, that's the best asset that we have in New Lexington, and I believe that is the kids that are on that hill learning. I mean, that's the future, and some of them are going to go on, some of them are going to come back. We've had more than our share of doctors, dentists, attorneys, that have graduated from our schools throughout the county, for that matter, not just New Lexington. So I'm pretty proud of that fact for them.
Now, are you a New Lex guy?
I actually graduated from Lancaster.
Okay.
Yeah, I was born and raised in Perry County, lived there all my life, with the exception of about 2.5 years. I actually graduated from Lancaster High School.
So you came here to graduate from Lancaster High School, and then now you're back there.
I went right straight back.
We're just about out of time. I'd like to have you back next week and to talk a little bit about maybe some of the dangers that you would face, because unlike a municipal police department, the sheriff's office, where there's a lot of people out there, sometimes you're probably the only game in town, and help could be a long way off.
Sure.
So how you kind of do that, how you train for that and safety, and maybe we'll talk a little bit about some what people can do maybe to protect their community, connect their to protect their neighborhoods.
Sure.
Scott Ervin, the New Lexington Chief Police, joining us this week. He's going to be back next week to talk about safety issues, talk about a few things, how to maybe protect your home, your community. Certainly appreciate him taking time out of his busy schedule to join us. Well, the clock on the wall says we're just about out of time. Do appreciate, again, the staff here and the students at Fairfield Christian Academy, you, the viewers and listeners, our executive producer, Kelly Roberts, who puts this program together. Until next week, same time, same place, buckle up, God bless, and we'll see you right here next week.
When you throw away money on wasted electricity, you're throwing away everything you could have bought with it. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at EnergySavers.gov.